Learning about YouTube feels safer than uploading to YouTube. But that's the problem, because tutorials feel productive, and taking notes feels strategic, and studying successful creators feels responsible. But at some point, your preparation becomes procrastination, just under a different heading. And I'm not saying that from a high horse. I've watched so many tutorials and taken so many notes over the past 3 years, convincing myself I was preparing. And some of it has helped, but now it's time to upload. So in this video, I'm going to show you the framework I'm using to finally start on YouTube seriously. I call it the YouTube Startup 4P framework. And if you've been waiting too, then by the end of this video, you'll have everything you need to start with me today. The first P out of the 4 Ps is plan. The foundation before you touch a camera is that you got to ask these 3 questions. Why am I doing this? Who is it for? And what's my starting direction? It doesn't have to be perfect. It just needs to be clear enough to start. Most people aren't stuck for a lack of ideas. They're stuck because their ideas don't have a container of sorts. Your why is the thing that will help you endure. If your only reason is I want to make money online, I think you'll quit before the money is made. Aim it at impact instead. Who can I help? What did I learn the hard way that someone else shouldn't have to? That's a reason that will survive the weeks that nobody's watching yet. Now, each video isn't really about what you want to say. It's about who needs to hear it. We need to get specific enough to picture one person. I'm not talking to everyone who wants to be famous online. I'm talking to the one person with real skills who keeps delaying, with notes in their phone or an Amazon cart full of gear that they never checked out, and they're watching others grow like I did, thinking I could have done that. And that's not lazy, that's just stuck. But when you know exactly who that is, the hook, the examples, the tone, everything gets easier. Now, when it comes to finding your niche, this is where a lot of people freeze. Waiting for the perfect niche to come along, but it won't arrive fully formed in your notes app. You just need a starting direction, not a life sentence. It's just the overlap between what you care about, what you can help with, and what people actually want. And you sharpen it by publishing more YouTube videos, because YouTube gives you feedback that your private planning never can. So don't let I don't know my niche be the reason you don't upload. I mean, half the experts are saying niching down isn't worth the trouble these days anyway. And I know that's a whole topic on its own, and maybe it's one we can come back to in another video. Now let's get into the second P, but before that, I wanted to give you an honest note on who you're actually listening to and who you're actually watching. I have not built a massive channel. My own channel is under 1,000 subscribers, so I'm not teaching you from the top of the mountain. I'm just handing you the exact map that I'm using right now, starting today. And here's the most useful thing I know. The reason that most people never start isn't skill and it isn't year. It's that researching feels like progress and uploading and publishing videos feels like exposure. So we stay in the safe part for months. The fix is this reframe. You don't get ready and then start. You start and the readiness shows up. You need to treat YouTube like a gym. Every upload is a rep. A video with 38 views isn't a failure. It's just your first set. And that's why I'm going to start by measuring this season with uploads, not views. Uploads are the one input that I can actually control, and everything you actually want is downstream of the upload. So that's the whole game. Everything from here is just how to do it without it feeling overwhelming, which is why I've split it into these 4 stages. So start a channel stops becoming one terrifying blob and becomes 4 things you can actually do. And one more thing, by the end of this video, I'll give you a single question that I've come up with that tells you whether or not you're genuinely preparing to start or just procrastinating and protecting yourself from being seen. Okay, the second P is pre-production, turning the idea into a video. You gotta have a promise in your hook, a script. Beginners lose people making the video that they wanna make without telling the viewer what they will get. So before you film, finish this sentence. By the end, the viewer will know, feel, believe, or do what? If you can't finish it, the video isn't ready. The viewer needs a reason to actually watch. Now, when it comes to your hook, it's not a spicy opening line. It's where the viewer decides whether you understand them. I opened this video with something that I hope resonated with you, a feeling within you, a line that probably beats how to start on YouTube because one's a topic and the other's a truth. Name the truth under the topic and people will lean in. A strong hook makes the right viewer feel found out, not yelled out, but found out. And that's exactly why I made a free hook generator prompt. The hardest part of starting is often just opening a video in a way that feels honest and not cringe. So this prompt helps you find the lie your viewer believes, flips it, and turns it into a hook with a real pull, a clear promise, and some stakes. And you can find that hook generator prompt link in the description of this video below. And that's where it sits with the second P. Now, in terms of your script, you don't need to know every word, but you do need to have a structure. You need to know where you're going before you record. You need to have a hook, a promise, main points, have value land early, and know where you might lose them. When you don't structure your thoughts, the viewer has to do that work. And on YouTube, if they work too hard, they leave. Okay, the third P is production. That's actually filming. And this is where a lot of the excuses lived for me. The camera, the lens, the lighting, the right mic, my haircut, my skin, my contact lenses. I've caught myself on every lie, every excuse. I almost didn't film today because I have a bit of a blocked nose. Or maybe I didn't get a haircut. Or my room's not feeling right. All these little small things, but I get it. Stacked together, they're a very polite way of never starting. But there's also a deeper reason. Now, personally, I've taught and preached from stages. I've run workshops, I've led teams. But talking to an empty room and a lens is genuinely different. There are no faces, there's no energy to read and bounce off of. The way past it though is to stop performing and just talk to the one person you defined in the first stage, in the first P. The lens isn't a camera, it's them. So make your setup better, then make it simple enough to repeat. The best setup isn't the fanciest, it's the one that you'll use every week. And for me, that's one video a week, not one viral video, remember. It's just the upload that counts. And what that setup actually needs, what's worth buying, what you can skip, that's a whole other topic on its own. So keep that in mind. We might do a video on that one too. The fourth P is post-production. So it's editing, publishing, reviewing. So editing matters, but publishing matters even more because a video isn't real when it's planned or scripted or even filmed. It's real. It's a real YouTube video when it's published. And publishing is where you actually learn. You learn what title has worked. You learn what hook held. You learn what dragged. You find that feedback is actually the classroom. So don't make the goal be amazing. Make it complete the loop. Idea, plan, script, film, edit, publish, review, and repeat. The more times you run it, the better you get. My friends, I haven't always practiced what I just preached, and that's actually the reason that I can. I started a Pokemon card channel back in 2023, partly for the hobby, but partly because I wanted to learn how to make videos. It became my training ground, learning how to talk to camera, plan and think about thumbnails, even learn how to edit videos and shoot, and sit with the awkwardness of publishing and checking if anyone cared. And those skills bled into my career. I already had years of strategy from marketing and creative leadership, but YouTube gave me the ability to execute. It gave me the reps. It helped me move into digital engagement roles, build client work, and actually launch a successful creative agency. So here's the uncomfortable part. YouTube has actually changed my life already. I just hadn't built my own YouTube channel. I went quiet online and I chased agency cash because it paid quickly. And I watched creators who started after me grow past 100,000 subscribers while my account sat under 1,000. And I know if I just committed for 3 years, I'd be somewhere completely different. And that's the cost of inconsistency. And I'm not saying that to bring any shame, I'm just saying it's the cost. What finally flipped it was a 90-day Instagram Reels challenge inspired by Omar El Takori's content. And somewhere in that, I realized I genuinely love making helpful content. And that if I'd just been building YouTube this whole time, my impact would have compounded. I'd have grown as a person and helped people in a way that isn't capped by my available agency hours. And you might have your own version of that story, someone who started after you, a niche you thought of that's now crowded or you think is crowded, a person with less experience than you building trust because they were willing to just publish. That feeling isn't fun, but it is useful. And if you let it wake you up instead of crush you, then you can genuinely have an impact online. So here's the question you've got to ask, the one that tells you whether you're preparing or just protecting yourself from being seen starting. The question is, what are you calling preparation that's actually protection? Research, gear, niche clarity, editing, your appearance, being too busy? For me, I don't have time sounded really responsible. And sometimes it was true, but it was also just a convenient excuse to not start because I could always fill that time with another client who could pay today. It just never built the scalable impact I actually wanted. So I'm changing the measure, as I've said, not views, uploads. One helpful, lo-fi, honest video a week, published. Because you don't start before you feel ready by becoming fearless. You do it by making the next rep small enough to actually do. One 4P loop, plan it, shape it, film it, and publish it, then run it again. Now, if you're ready to start this with me, but you're stuck on the third P, production, then you're in the right place, because in this video, I share with you how I built a simple and effective YouTube studio. So if filming is a thing that is in your way, watch that one next, and I'll see you there.